Hey guys, Travis Daggett, Forefront Enterprises. I want to go through a case study with you on a property that we closed on last week. Now, recently we've been talking about how property or inventory has been at a 7-year low. So properties listed on the MLS are at a low point. Boy, it's been 2006 since they've been this low. So what that means is, in many areas, properties have been getting bid up over the asking price. Now, as an investor, you don't even want to pay asking price or list price, let alone above the list price or the retail price. So we've been looking for ways other than listed properties to source our houses, to find our deals. One of the places that we've gone to and had success with is the Courthouse steps, Courthouse auctions. So these are properties that you can buy at the steps. Now, there's a whole process behind it, and there's a lot of moving parts, and we go through some of that in our trainings, so I encourage you to look at that. But this particular property that we bought, we purchased at the steps for $28,000. Okay, so we bought it for $28,000 at the steps. Now remember, when you purchase a property at the Courthouse steps, you're purchasing it as is, where is. Title, if there's occupants, condition, you don't get any inspection, you pay cash, you close on it that day. So that's the risk that we took as the purchaser. Now, for that risk, we expect to be compensated. So our first choice is always to just flip that or wholesale that to another investor as is without putting any money into it. That's where we prefer to do most of our deals. But we do always conduct some due diligence and find out what the repairs are that are needed. We find comps on the property. Sometimes we'll get an appraisal, an ARV appraisal, an after repaired value appraisal. That's an appraisal that says this is what we believe the house will be worth after it's repaired, subject to those repairs. So this property needed about, according to our repair estimates, about $2,500 in repairs. Now, we generally get 3 repair estimates, but in this case, so to make it rent ready for a tenant, needed to have around $2,500 in repairs. So that would be $30,500 to be able to rent. Now, this property would rent for around $675 a month. So if you look at it, $30,500 rents for $675. Well, that's over 2% rent to cost ratio, which is good. Now, in most areas of the country now, investors that are buying and holding and renting out, they're looking for 2, even 3% for a rent to cost ratio. Now, other areas of the country, they're still ecstatic to get 1%, but most of us are looking for that 2 to 3% range. So that's right in there. Now, this is a 3-2, and it's just a brick ranch. Okay, just your average bread and butter house. Now, as far as marketing the property, once we purchased it and we secured it, we immediately started marketing it, and we cover that in other videos as well. I encourage you to look at those. But things like sending it out to our buyers list, Yahoo groups, Connected Investor, RAI Matcher, eBay, and of course our favorite, Craigslist. Now, we found the buyer for this property through Craigslist. Okay. Now, we did have multiple buyers or multiple offers on this property. So our asking price was $39,000. Okay, so we're looking to make $11,000 pretty much, within 30 days. Now, since we had multiple offers, we asked them to give us their highest and best offer. So we ended up selling it for $40,000. So you can tell that's a spread of about $12,000. And that's generally what we look for our wholesale profit, is around $12,000. Now, the buyer for this property had been watching the property for 2 years. So this is somebody that had been following this since probably pre-foreclosure, from default through foreclosure, went back to the lender, that whole process, and they didn't know how to get it. So they were happy to get the property, and they were happy to pay $40,000 for it. Sometimes people say, well, aren't people going to be upset that I paid $28,000, I didn't do anything to it, and now I'm selling it for $40,000? Well, maybe, but our experience has been most people, first of all, they don't know that, but even if they did, they wouldn't care, because they want to buy the property for $40,000. And also, to be honest with you, if they have a problem with that, they're really not the buyer for you. We're looking for buyers that we can establish a long-term relationship, repeat business. They're looking for these deals. We have the team in place to get the deals for them. Everybody wins. We did have a little bit of closing costs here, about $600. So you're responsible for a little bit of taxes, some title work, a little bit of money cost for holding it. Our hold time was about 33 days. And there's some money costs associated with that, of course. But overall, it was over $11,000 profit in 33 days, which is not bad. And again, this is a property that finding properties in the courthouse, most investors, most people aren't looking in those places. So with inventory this low, you're going to need to look to FSBOs, for sale by owner, private sellers, private owners, probate, absentee owners, vacant properties, the courthouse, bird dogs, different ways of finding properties rather than just the MLS to find HUDs and those types of properties. Now, that time will probably return, but you need to be finding multiple sources there. You have to dig your well before you're thirsty. You can't wait until you have no deals, then it's too late. Then you have a big gap between when you're finished one deal and getting the next deal. So hope that helps as a case study, an example of doing a deal in the courthouse. Please subscribe to our channel and check out our website. Thanks.